Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to talk about desire versus contentment, or what you want versus what you need. And today's video comes to us via a request from Dick, and here's what he has to say. Hello, Howard Dare. I would like to request the following YouTube video from you. Does a man really need designer clothing, fancy car, a McMansion type of house, going to restaurants, exotic vacations, and to be focused on fucking women who are 9s and 10s, as opposed to 7s or 8s? Sincerely, your recent YouTube subscriber, Dick Anus. www.instagram.com/Dick_Anus. Okay, so that is a great question, and thanks for the donation. So there's a few different ways to come at this question because it's a deceptively complex question. It goes towards the very nature of desire. And what we need to understand is that there's a couple of important variables here. From a biological evolutionary point of view, all mammals want the best for the least. It's the pleasure principle. This is what we're driven by. We evolved in an environment of limited resources. We evolved in an environment of competitive exclusion, okay? Meaning we have to fight for things. So you need the best on all levels. You want the best woman, you want the best hunting ground, you want the best weapons, you want to be the healthiest, you want to be the strongest. It's so ingrained to us, to we mammals, us mammals, that we isolate and destroy the weak and the sick from the group. You can see this in, the bullying of children. You can see this in herds of animals. We don't even want things that aren't high quality around us, is how ingrained this is to us on a biological level. Now, this tendency of wanting more, of wanting the best, it's hypergamy. And, a lot of men don't understand that it works the same in men. It just works on a different set of principles. For example, this is the wisdom of a bird in the hand is worth, is better than two in the bush. And the example is, the man, and I'm sure you'll all understand this, cheating on, the wife or the good girlfriend, and I'm calling her that because that's what I like to imagine them as, but that's not reality. For the woman who just has big boobs, or who, is just new and exotic and different to him. So there's that tendency. And you don't have to be very smart to be driven by that tendency. That's pretty natural. But at the same time, even the child comes to recognize that their ego, if left unchecked and completely out of control, is going to get them into a lot of trouble. And if you don't believe me, would you like to make a bet on that? Right? So I'm sure that you've all had the experience as a young child of being goaded into a bet, that you were going to lose, or goading someone else into a bet because their ego, they want something. They want to be right. They feel that they are right. Or they want that piece of cake. And it's not always in their best interest to go, down that road. And we have to, it requires this question in life. Do we go for what we want? Do we go for the gold ring? Or do we settle for, what is more attainable? Now, we want what we want, and it's biologically driven, largely. And there are huge societal, cultural things at play here, too. For example, this is a tricky subject, right? How about the man who wants to go out with the hot women, with the hot women all the time, but he comes to the realization that he's gay, right? And that he was, or the man who gets married to the trophy wife and builds up, that dream blue pill life, only to find out that that was his parents' dream, that had nothing to do with him. And, I'm stating it like it's the exception, but it's not. I mean, not, they don't all, find out that they're gay, right? But the desires and the values that we think we have, it could be that we simply took them on from the culture and the society and the peer groups around us. So what good does it do a man to chase after, a mansion when all he needs is a house with a few bedrooms? When I was young, I imagined, that I would live in a mansion and have a mansion, right? But as I got older, I realized, after I started paying the bills, right, paying for the utilities of things, I realized, no, I want, enough space for what I want to do, plenty of space, but I don't need too much more than that. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to carry the burden of those resources. So we can liken this, we can also compare this to the idea of a relationship. Now, just as, do you ever hear the story about a man who cheats on his wife, right? But he still loves his wife or his girlfriend or something like that. We hear this story. This is a pretty common story. And I think most men hearing that story can be really sympathetic to the man. Like Fatal Attraction, okay? The married man, Michael Douglas, has an affair, right? Has a one-night stand. Supposedly happily married, things like that, right? And she's crazy. She's a psycho, and she destroys his life, But as a man, you're not going to, see that man and be judging him too harshly, right? Because from the male point of view, this weakness that men have towards the affection and having sex with women. So they're almost always going in that direction. And we're sympathetic towards that because, it's like the man cheats on his girlfriend and he cheats on her with, her sister, right? And she's younger, she's prettier. And, you want to say, wow, what a, the woman is saying, wow, what a rotten man, what a terrible thing he's done there. It's like, well, from a male point of view, it's like, no, he went with the prettiest woman that was available to him. Not too crazy. Sexual hypergamy, isn't it? For the man. And we're not even like, well, what a terrible thing he did. And from the female, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? It's just she's going after resources. So I suspect when two women, are meeting up with each other and one of them says, I cheated on my husband, I had an affair. And the other woman says, wow, that's, really shocking. Why did you do that? And then, the first woman says, well, because he had more money. The other woman just says, oh, yeah, of course. I understand. I would have done it too. That's their hypergamy. So why does the man want what he wants, right? Does he want to get together with the woman? Actually, see, that's the thing. I'm going to give any man a pass on that one, okay? I understand. Now, let's examine the trope of the man who's happy and he's with, a woman who's like a 7 or an 8, right? A kind of nerdy woman, but she's loyal to him, right? This is all movie fantasy stuff that I'm talking about here. These are narratives that we pick up in our culture, right? But he has the opportunity of getting together with a 9 or a 10, but she's a total bitch, okay? And she doesn't care about him at all. He gets together with, so he dumps the 7 or 8 that really cared about him, and he gets together with the 9 or the 10. And she cuckolds him, basically. She exploits him. She doesn't value him. Now, this is fantasy because in real life, once the man gets together with the woman who is, a 7 or an 8, she immediately assumes a new sexual market value place based on whatever the man is. So if a man is a 10 and he sleeps with a woman who is a 6, okay, she immediately gets to jump up and say to herself on some ego level, oh, I'm now a 10. So, that's how she can then start sleeping with his friends, start living off of his resources, and then she can, start telling lies about him to his friends, to the society at large, drive him out of his own area and secure his resources. That's how she gets the mental wherewithal to do that. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is because there's this great danger when the man gets together with, the 9 or the 10, or he goes for the gold ring and he fails. He bites off more than he can chew. Now, if he's driven to do this by desires and instincts that he doesn't understand, he can be destroyed by it. Okay? So in that case, I'm saying, no, the man needs to recognize the situation and not be dominated by his own greed and ambition and desires and the weakness of his own ego. But then on the other hand, okay, let's say you're a smart, rational man, you're an intelligent man, and you need, 3,000 square feet. That's it. That's what you need. That's what you should go for. Now, maybe you're going to settle, for 2,800 square feet, and make some adjustments. Maybe that's what you have to do. But if you're a man in charge, of your wants and desires, you're understanding what's compelling you and things like that. You can't be manipulated. You can't be goaded. Then you should go for what you want. Now, production, you want to get something done. You want to get a job done. So are you going to stop production in order to get what you want? And in my opinion, no. Like I'm saying, if you can only get those 2,800 square feet, I myself personally, I would go with that and continue production and then keep an eye out for, the additional space. Some people don't look at it that way, and I'm not here to, to debate that. But what I want is for you, as a man, to be in possession of this knowledge. So if you're being driven by your desires and you're not in control of it, to want the best, to get together with the 9 or the 10, to have the best job, to have the fastest car, to have the most stuff, this can potentially destroy you. You don't need it. You should step back and settle, for what can make you happy, for what you need, and work with what you have in life rather than pining away for the things that you don't have or that you think are the best. Understand this, okay, that this desire, to have the best, to have the most things, it could also be implanted into us from an advertising culture where the man is just always pining for the newer car, for the higher status symbol, for just more external validation, right? Because he's so weak inside. So in that case, no, learn to be happy with what you have. On the other case, you're a man in possession of your wants and desires and what you have your goals. You need what you need. So that's my view on this topic. And I hope it helps, and offers some insight. So let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.